Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sik'ar Reviews. Today, a little bit of a blast from the past, I guess you could say. I will be smoking a Alec Trilogy Ovation Exotic Maduro. This is not the tri-press. This would be the Robusto size. Very beautiful looking wrapper. I would say nearly flawless from the way it looks. There is a little crease down the side here, but otherwise, not bad. I tried to find these for sale. Couldn't find them for sale anymore. So, it seems that they're gone. Heck, I can't even find anything about the various sizes that they came in. I do know that this is a Robusto size, and it wasn't tri-pressed. Very little smell off the wrapper. A little sweetness off the foot, which you expect with a Maduro. And I figure this is pretty well aged, but the cello doesn't show it too well. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. Very hard cigar. Firm. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. I notice usually the firmer cigars tend to get mushy at the end and get extra hot, but it's not always the case. Kind of a smoky barbecue flavor. A little salt. Very nice retro hail, even though it did make a cough just there for a second. Very barnyardish retro hail. Lots of hay notes. I did run across an interesting thought, and this is something that struck my mind numerous times while I was looking up the basic information, which, by the way, is supposed to be a Brazilian wrapper with an Indonesian binder and a Nicaraguan, Colombian, and Honduran long filler. But while I was trying to find out about the tobaccos involved, I ran across where somebody had said this was a very good cigar and highly recommends it. Did not mention anything about flavor profile. And they said, how is it that Altadis goes and charges $10 to $15 for a cigar when Alec Bradley can come out with something of this quality, which is better than the Altadis cigars, for $5? So that's the closest I could come to finding a price point. But it also makes me, it's brought up something numerous times. How can certain cigars be so darn expensive when there are better cigars that are cheaper? The Cohiba line is one that comes to mind immediately. And I'm not talking Cuban Cohibas. Big difference. But like the Cohiba Red Dot, I find that to be an extremely inferior cigar, not worth anyone's time. And yet I find people who do love them. To me, it's a garbage cigar. Burns way too quick, gets too soft, not the flavor that I'd like, and overpriced. 4 strikes against it. But I see those sometimes for like $13, sitting right next to a Julius Caesar for $13. Now the Julius Caesar I understand at $13. The Cohiba, That shouldn't be more than a $4 or $5 cigar for what you get. Heck, I wouldn't even pay $4 or $5 for a Cohiba, unless it was a Cuban. I mean, somebody was telling me that when it comes to cigars, sometimes the cheapest isn't the best value. Sometimes the best value is in, you know, what's most enjoyable to you. And that's true too. But when it comes to two cigars at the same price, like the Cohiba and the Julius Caesar, you're going to get the better value from the Julius Caesar, and a Cohiba is just a waste of your money. There are other cigars in the very same price range that are just so much better, and any one of those would be a better choice. In fact, there's so many that are budget that would just be a much better choice. There are cigars out there like that. But I'll tell you this too. Every once in a while, for old time's sake, I have to buy a Cohiba. So even though I say they're not worth the money, you see, when I started smoking cigars, 12, 13 years ago, my gas station I was working at ended up getting a humidor. And my boss brought in Partegas and Cohibas, because that's what his distributor had. And about every 2 weeks, I would buy a box. And so among my very first cigars that I ever smoked were Cohibas and Partegas. And I know the Partegas were crystal tubes. And I believe the Cohibas I had were tubos too, in glass tubes. But I haven't seen those since. So, you know, things come and go from the market. But for old time's sake, I will buy one. It's a memory. And so it does have that, even though it still has 4 strikes against it. Anyways, this cigar kind of has hay and earth notes to it, and a tad bit of honey. It's got a slight sweet profile, but not overly sweet. Very nice retrohale. And there's a slightly toasty note too. But not so much like toasted white bread or something, but more like a toasted pancake. Trust me, it's odd. It's very good though. Very, very good. Anyways, I will get to the halfway point of this, and I'll let you know how this progresses. If I keep talking, I'll be at the halfway point before I finish. And I'm having a good day today talking, so see you shortly. Hello, and welcome back to the halfway point of this Alec Bradley Trilogy Ovation. I had a unique sweetness that came forward. Almost like a very fruity, sort of apple-ish sweetness. It lasted briefly, but there's still a hint of that kind of fructose in the background. And it's very nice and long burning too. I mean, I'm at the halfway point and I'm about an hour and 10 minutes in. So this is a very nice cigar so far. Still has some kind of hay, earthy notes. Retrohale is still very, very nice on this cigar. This is just a fantastic cigar so far. So, anyways, I will get to the final third here and let you know how this is continued. And I'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome back to the final third of this Alec Bradley. I've already forgotten the name of it. Trilogy Ovation Maduro. So, anyways, I don't know why I forgot the name of it. I guess I'm just not entirely with it today. The flavors in this are marvelous. There is just so much going on here. There's that sweetness with the barnyard flavors, and it's just all gels together, and there's always something that seems to be wanting to come to the surface and say, hey, here I am, and then other things kind of seep to the background, and then they come back forward to grab attention again. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this cigar. I could say it's probably one of my top 15 or 20, and it's not on the market anymore. That's sad. But absolute fantastic cigar. I highly give this a recommendation. If you can find it, grab one. If you can't, oh well, I guess. So anyways, and I want to thank Johnny Sticks for this. I would not have had the opportunity to try this and get to experience this if it wasn't for him. So thank you so very much for having sent this to me. I greatly appreciate it. And with all that said, please add and subscribe, leave questions, comments, feedback, and suggestions. If you smoke this and you agree or disagree, go ahead and leave your opinions in the comments below. Just keep it nice is all I ask, and enjoy every puff.